Good morning, everyone. As you know, on Monday, I assigned you all to start gathering your research notes based on the biographical sources that you chose for the subject in which you were researching. I also sent you a model of my biographical notes. Let's quickly take a look at that. So you have a chart that looks similar to mine, only yours is obviously blank until you start filling it out. So what I gave you was based on your subject. You want to be looking at what kind of obstacles did this person have to face? And the reason why you want to look at these obstacles is because overcoming obstacles builds character. So lots of times if there are certain hardships that the person you are researching faced in their life, you want to take note of that. Again, you want to take note of their character traits. A lot of times this will have to be an inference because many biographies don't directly tell you a character trait. However, by looking at different pieces of information, you can infer those character traits. Something we're used to doing for Alexander the Great is looking at someone's accomplishments when deciding whether or not they are great, a hero. Everyone that you chose needed to be someone that did something great for our world, contributed in some way to make the world a better place, or you find heroic. So here you can see I focus on some of Jackie Robinson's accomplishments. Also similar to what we did for Alexander the Great, I do think it's important to look at a legacy. What did they leave behind? How is this person remembered? How have they changed or impacted the world in some way? Now, a lot of you had questions on Monday about what if for maybe the video source, I don't see anything about obstacles, or maybe their legacy isn't brought up, or perhaps they haven't really left something behind yet. I don't think too many of you will run into that issue. However, if that comes up, then you just leave those boxes blank for that source. Perhaps one of your other sources will have that information. I also required you to cite evidence, whether it was direct or indirect. So I just wanted to give you a quick video reviewing the difference between direct and indirect citing. Direct evidence is basically what we've been doing all year. Citing directly to let me know that these are not your original words, they are someone else's. Indirect evidence is similar in the sense that you're still pulling information from a piece of text. A lot of you did this if you use document A or document E in your DBQ writing, because document A was a map and document E was a chart. It was difficult to actually cite something word for word from these documents. So the key was to paraphrase that information or put it in your own words. When you do this, you are actually citing evidence indirectly. You do not use quotation marks here. However, you do still need parenthetical documentation, which is when you use parentheses at the end to show me where the information was taken from. So let's practice. I pulled a paragraph from one of my sources. As you know, I'm researching Jackie Robinson. So I pulled this paragraph from Justice at Last, which we've all read. When Ricky met Robinson, he thought he'd found the right man. Robinson was 28 years old and a superb athlete. In his first season in the Negro Leagues, he hit .387. But just as importantly, he had great intelligence and sensitivity. Robinson was college educated and knew what joining the majors would mean for blacks. The grandson of a slave, he was proud of his race and wanted others to feel the same. So I just wanted to show you an example of me citing directly from this source and citing indirectly from this source. Okay, I gave a little bit of context here. Jackie Robinson was chosen to join the Dodgers due to traits other than his athleticism. Then I directly quote. So I took these word for word from the text. I open with quotation marks. But just as importantly, he had great intelligence, sensitivity. Robinson was college educated and knew what joining the majors would mean for blacks. Notice I do not have any kind of ending punctuation before these quotation marks. No comma, no period, nothing. I just close the quotes, and here is my parenthetical documentation. I open my parentheses. This source happens to have two authors, so I used both of their last names, Ward and Burns, page 1. Okay, just to show you how I did take that word for word, I'm going to highlight that information up here in my source paragraph. Okay. Now I'm going to use this same piece of text that I cited here, only I'm going to cite indirectly. Jackie Robinson was chosen to join the Dodgers due to traits other than his athleticism. He was intelligent and sensitive, and he understood that joining the majors would make blacks everywhere feel proud. Again, even though there's no quotations because I paraphrased, I put this into my own words. I still don't put any kind of ending punctuation because I need my parenthetical documentation at the end. I open up parentheses, word and burns, page 1, close parentheses, and that's where I decide to put my period. So you can see I took this information from the same piece of text I highlighted here, but I did synthesize it or put it into my own words. Therefore, I am using indirect evidence from a source. I am citing where I got that information from, but I am not using quotation marks because this wasn't verbatim or word for word. Your biography research should be a mixture of direct evidence and indirect evidence. For example, when you're taking notes on your video source, it's probably easier to use a lot of indirect evidence than direct. However, that doesn't mean that you can't choose to cite something directly from the video. You might need to pause it a few times in order to make sure that you get a piece of information word for word. So I hope that helps as you continue to fill out your research notes for your biographical subjects. This is posted on Classroom for you to refer to as a model. You can watch the video as many times as you'd like. And don't forget that your research notes for your biographical subject are due the Monday we come back from spring break, which is April 20th. Thanks, everyone.